Hey guys, this is my 96, I think it's a 96, that's what I was told, 300 four-wheel drive Suzuki King Quad. I bought it in this condition. I've just put a couple things back on. None of these linkages were hooked up when the little mounting bracket and frame for the linkages wasn't there whenever I bought it. I got all the parts with it, or should be all the parts. I'll probably have to buy some odd and end things. The handlebar levers and switch on it both sides, none of those were assembled when I bought it. I've got those back on. I think the master cylinder's bad, or maybe needs rebuilt, but it doesn't. The piston doesn't come back out to do anything. Won't push any fluid. The guy could only get it to start and just run momentarily with some starter fluid or something like that whenever I went and got it. And pretty much I figured out that it had a bad fuel pump, or at least a non-working fuel pump. That's what I've come down to. And here's the fuel pump right here. That's the inside of the fuel pump. This cover goes on there with the little diaphragm. But anyway, for now, if you fill the tank all the way up to, toward the top, that's taller, higher than the carburetor. And the reason it has a fuel pump is because most of the tank is lower than the carburetor. And so once the fuel gets lower than the carburetor, it won't gravity feed. And so anyway, I thought I could just run a fuel line directly from the petcock to the carburetor instead of running from the petcock to the fuel pump to the carburetor, and just for testing. And so I did. I filled the fuel tank all the way up and put that hose on there, so the gas is taller than the carburetor, or higher. And basically I cranked on a few times, and it pretty much fires right up and runs perfect for the most part. Obviously I haven't been able to take it for a ride or anything, but just sitting there running, it doesn't smoke, or not any noticeable amount, and sits there and idles and runs good. But anyway, there's the plastic. It's pretty rough. There's the front rack, and then there's the back rack right there, and the seat's in good shape. The plastic, it's busted up a little bit, but it doesn't really have holes in it. I may try to paint it with Krylon Fusion, which I've heard really good reviews on as far as painting ATV plastics. I don't normally like to paint them, but those are so far gone that they're not going to get away without painting it if you want it to look decent. It's missing one back wheel. It's the 5-lug bolt pattern, and seems to be kind of hard to find a wheel that doesn't cost a lot. I don't know, for some reason those seem to bring more on eBay than the 4-lugs, so I guess maybe they weren't as common. But I think a lot of the older King Quads had them. They may have went to the 4-lug on some of the newer King Quads, I think. But anyway, I think it's got 1917 miles, and I've got a video of it running when I brought it home. Once I got the fuel pump bypassed temporarily. But pretty much my plans for it are to just put it back together, buy a wheel for it, and clean it up best I can, get the plastic looking a little bit decent with some paint and stuff. And I've got a snow plow. I've actually got it mounted. I've got the bracket and everything. It goes on my Grizzly 660 Grizzly 2004 model. And then here's my plow. I don't use it all that much. We don't get a whole lot of snow, but I spread a little gravel or something like that with it every once in a while, and push a little snow if we get any. But the fact that the Suzuki's got the super low range makes it really nice for working. If you want to pull something, if you want to haul something, even just being a 300. It pretty much, you can't run it out of power in the lower gears, because the first gear is like 126 to 1 ratio, which is extremely low. I can't remember what the low range on my Grizzly is, but it's not anywhere near that low. This thing's probably, it may be triple as low geared as the Grizzly in low range. And this actually has 15 forward gears. I think this one here runs the sub ranges sub transmission, and you've got, I can't remember which way it is forward to backwards, but you've got high, low, and super low. And it's actually even got differential lock in the front and independent rear suspension. It was a pretty revolutionary four-wheeler back in its day, as far as it's being optioned a lot like some of the newer ones. And they held up well. But anyway, just want to get it where I can plow with it and stuff. I'm hopefully not going to have a whole lot in it. So I like to be able to use my plow, and then every once in a while, if somebody that doesn't have an ATV wants to go riding with us, and put them on this thing. Should be reliable and pretty cheap to keep running, and I don't know, I may wind up selling it, but as of right now, I'm planning on keeping it for a while. So